Welcome back, everyone, to Lore with Ludus Infinium, and we're actually going to do a new little sub-series for my lore. And this is 40k Rants with Ludus Infinium, because I want to do something where, I can just rant about something that I have knowledge of, don't have to do a whole bunch of research or, a whole bunch of scripting. This is just me talking about something that I either find interesting or I just, I kind of, want to express some just thoughts about it. And this is kind of a way of, and feel free to jump in the comments and have a conversation about it. That's kind of what these are going to be for. So I had a few options coming up with this, and I think the one I want to talk about first, at least, who are the real culprits behind the Horus Heresy. Now, obviously, you could say the Chaos Gods, but that's not what I mean in this. I mean, who actually got the ball rolling, as it were, with the Horus Heresy as far as mortals were concerned? Could you say it was Lorgar? Could you say it was Erebus for getting the Kinnebrecht Anathame and having Yugen Timba, even him, stabbing Horus? Could you say Horus was in fact the one that started the Horus Heresy because he's the one that led it? So how do we determine what event sparked off the Horus Heresy? Well, there are a few different and very interesting ways to answer this question. And I think I can answer this with essentially three different answers that all are very viable. And I'm going to start from the latest point in the timeline and work my way all the way back to the earliest point I can in the timeline and cast blame, as it were. So, my very first person to say started the Horus Heresy would actually be Horus Lupercal, the War Master himself. So, this comes after Timba stabs him with the Kinnebrecht Anathame, and I really do think that some of the blame does have to fall on Horus's head. His insecurities and his ambition drove him to become the War Master, both the good and bad of it. So, realistically, if blame's going anywhere, Horus has got to hold his fair share of it. So, is Horus fully to blame for the Horus Heresy? I don't think that's fair. But is he responsible for it? Well, yeah, partly he is. He absolutely 100% is. But is he the one who started it? By this argument, you could, by saying he is the one who in fact led it. But I don't think that's completely fair either. Now, we could go on to Yugen Timba, the one who fell to Nurgle, stabbed Horus with the Kinnebrecht Anathame, and made it to where he was converted to Chaos. Well, this one I have a few places that I have issue placing blame on this. So at this point, Timba had already been corrupted by Chaos, and he was part of the Great Plan. So I don't think you can put as much blame on him as you could on Horus, but he is definitely part of the spark. We'll say that. He is the events that took place with Timba and Horus definitely are part of what set off the Horus Heresy. Now, I did say 3, but I think I'm going to expand this out to 4. And the next one will be Lorgar. And the reason I put some blame on Lorgar is because Lorgar foolishly thought that he would, let's see, how do I word this? he thought that he could use his first captain Erebus and his adopted father Corphaeron and use them to manipulate Horus. And in essence, they did, and this is very true. But definitely, I would say more blame lands on Lorgar's head than on Horus's, because Lorgar is a scheming little bitch, and did set his word bearers to do a lot of damage, be it with converting certain Primarchs like Horus, even Angron. Well, the Ascension to Demonhood of Angron would be a better way to word it. To the instilling of the warrior lodges throughout the other legions. So there's a lot of blame that can fall on Lorgar's head. However, let's go back a little further. Erebus and Corphaeron. Yeah. I put, personally, most of the blame on these two little bastards. And here's why. On Colchis, they were already following a religion that was essentially chaos worship. And, they converted... They corrupted Lorgar hard. And after Lorgar was kind of got his ass spanked hard by the Emperor, they twisted Lorgar up pretty bad, and like, you know, a god demands worship. Obviously, the Emperor is not a god. We have gods we can show you that will demand worship, and we'll take all the worship that you can give them. And they did. And they really, really did. And I think that most of the blame of the Horus Heresy and the events that follow, and what happened to a lot of the legions, falls on the head of Erebus and Corphaeron. I would say they are the start of the spark. This is not to say Lorgar, Yugen Timba, and Horus, in my case, are blameless, but that... Now, if Lorgar had landed on a different planet, or say had Colchis been, bombarded, not to annihilate the entire population, but at least kill fucking Erebus and Corphaeron, and Lorgar not been corrupted from the get-go, I think the Horus Heresy would have been at least harder to accomplish for the Chaos Gods. And this is a really interesting kind of thought to go down. But realistically, the key to this rant, and this is probably going to be a shorter rant, is who gets the blame? Well, like most things in 40k, it's not really one event or one person. There's a lot of dominoes that had to fall into place to get the Horus Heresy to happen. But of those dominoes, I think we can pick out some of the main players that caused it to happen. In my case, I say the blame lies with Horus, Lorgar, Erebus, and Corphaeron. But I think the spark is the four of them and Timba. And if I were told, if I had a gun pointed at my head and were told, to deliver sole blame of the Horus Heresy to someone, that would be a hard choice, but I think in the end, I would say Erebus. Because he had his fingers in the most pies, so to speak. He's the one who stole the anathema and gave it to Timba. He's the one that corrupted Horus personally. He went through a lot of the legions in corrupting people through the warrior lodges. So Erebus did a lot of it himself. So if I were to say who either got the most blame, or if I were forced to say who gets soul blame, I would probably dish it all out to Erebus. But I don't think that's necessarily fair, though, to put soul blame on him. Again, had Horus not been as insecure or had the wrong level of ambitions, he might not have been so easily corrupted. Had Lorgar not been a complete twit, he could have resisted the corruption as well. But as it is, Erebus is known for being very good with words, something I am not. And he managed to corrupt at least two Primarchs and to thoroughly screw over most of the Legion. So, in respect, he did a lot. He actually did do a lot. And the funny thing is as much as I like Chaos, I despise the Word Bearers. So, just a little interesting aside. And as I said, this was a shorter 40k rant. It being the first one, kind of getting my feel for it. Just want to see what everyone else thinks. But the comments are open. I would love to hear what y'all think. Who do you think deserves the blame for the Horus Heresy? If there is someone to have sole blame, or if there's a group of people like I presented to have blame, I would love to see in the comments what y'all think. But this has been 40k Rants with Ludus Infinium. And if you did like this and you like the new structure that I'm trying to go with, subscribe, leave a like, do all that stuff YouTube, again, essentially kind of demands at this point. But the most important thing of all, if you ever feel like you need to rant, segue. If you ever feel like you need to rant or just need someone to listen to you, join the Discord. Link is in all my videos. We have a bunch of good people there, and we're building up a community where if you need a rant or if you just need someone to be there for you, we are there. And we'd be more than happy to listen to anything you have to say. It's very important that no one feel alone right now, because that's not a good place to be or a healthy place to be. No one is alone. You can have friends, come to the Discord community, make friends. We're all, we're a little, some of us, myself included, are a bit, I especially am a bit socially inept, which is kind of funny that I'm the one doing the YouTube videos, but I have real issues, in social situations, but I will do everything I can to make sure people don't feel the way that I have felt in the past and feel like they're the only ones out there. And it's just not right for people to feel. And I have a bunch of people in my Discord that feel the same as me towards it. And we all want to build a community where now none of us are alone because we all have each other. We're less a community and more of a family at this point. It's amazing. It is. And everyone is free to join in on that and free to be a part of this amazing thing that we're building. But with me gushing over my own community, all I can really say at this point is I hope you all have a very wonderful day.